Now on NBC Palm Springs at 6, a local gathering aims to remember civil rights activist John Lewis. We'll have details coming up.
Also tonight, an update on the mulch fire that we've been tracking burning near Thermal tonight.
And we're tracking hot and humid conditions as we get into later this week. We'll have more on that full forecast coming up. NBC Palm Springs at 6 starts right now.
Now, this is NBC Palm Springs.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Olivia Sandusky.
I'm Mark Messer. We start tonight with an update to a story we first brought you at 5 o'clock tonight. It's that mulch fire that's burning near Thermal right now. We have some live images from the scene we'd like to show you as our top story this evening. The Riverside County Fire Department is still on the scene. Crews battling this blaze around Van Buren and 59th Avenue. This is near the La Quinta Thermal border. You can see smoke. This has been burning since about 3 o'clock this afternoon. At this time, 2 acres have burned at a moderate rate of spread. The cause of the fire, however, experts telling us still under investigation. So we will continue to track the latest developments. You can see the crews there as well as the fire department's mobile vehicles on scene. So we'll have the latest for you coming up in just a bit. And with that, let's give you some live pictures tonight from our Agua Caliente casino camera high above downtown Palm Springs. Chloe, I'm seeing those palm trees that are moving with the wind that's in the forecast right now. Probably not the best news for firefighters, right?
Yeah, we're looking at those conditions when it comes to thermal. Unfortunately, we are expecting those winds to pick up a little bit this evening. So definitely we'll keep the eye on that fire, because when we're talking about those fires spreading quickly, we do not want some gusty winds. They're going to be staying below the threshold for wind advisory level winds, but worth noting right now in Thermal near that fire that Olivia and Mark were talking about, 105 current weather conditions, temperatures there, winds 12 miles per hour from the north direction. So humidity a little bit higher today. That'll be something we're also tracking this week. We're very dry here in the desert, but those numbers will be rising as we get into later this week. Some monsoon moisture moving into Southern California. More on that later. Right now in downtown Palm Springs, 107 there at the airport. Current wind gusts right now, that onshore flow, so winds from the west for the wind corridor there. Winds picking up a little bit. As Mark mentioned, you can see those trees blowing 23-mile-per-hour wind gusts for Palm Springs. So for today, that ridge of high pressure that brought those hot conditions last week, it's starting to break down, being taken over by this trough low pressure to the north of us. We got an eye on a low pressure system to the south of us that's moving up towards Southern California that will be bringing in that monsoon moisture, as well as backing up those temperatures just a little bit. It might not feel like it, though, because it's going to be hot and muggy out there as well. Here's a look at your Comfort 3-day forecast. So we'll dip a little bit below average for the remainder of the work week. We're tracking not only humid conditions, but a chance of rain and thunderstorms for our mountain communities. We'll break down more you can expect in that full forecast coming up.
All right, Chloe, thank you for that. We'll hear from you a little bit later on tonight. Movement sweeping the nation, including right here in the Coachella Valley. It's to honor one of the most prominent civil rights leaders, the late Congressman John Lewis. Organizers say these local events aim to educate those attending about John Lewis's legacy. Our Brett Rosen tonight joins us live in studio with more. Brett?
Mark, John Lewis was the type of man who in his 20s helped lead pivotal civil rights marches, such as the Freedom Rides protests, the March on Washington, and the Selma marches in 1965. A man who served his country as a U.S. congressman for 30 years. A man who was never afraid to be the loudest in a quiet room.
You see something that is not right, not just, not fair, you have a moral obligation to say something, to do something.
This coming Thursday will mark the 5th anniversary of the death of John Lewis. He was a strong advocate for nonviolence, voting rights, and racial and economic justice. Born in Alabama, he was the son of sharecroppers who left an impression on a generation of civil rights activists and organizational leaders.
He was brilliant. He was a connector. And I think the legacy that he is bringing to us is that we can still rise through challenges that we have if we use each other and the capacity that we have as a culture.
Good trouble was coined by John Lewis, a phrase he used to urge people to take action and create change in a peaceful way. There are more than 1,000 Good Trouble Lives On events scattered throughout the nation. The president of the nonprofit Brothers of the Desert, Tim Vincent, says the event hosted in Palm Springs is not a protest. Instead, it's educational.
It's a nonpartisan with regard to politics event. And it really is about educating the community about his legacy, how important he is to us and our history.
Vincent says the hope is for people to understand the meaning of what good trouble is, and that a community together is stronger than one person.
Together, when we are connected to our community, we are stronger and we are invincible in many ways to getting things done.
We must learn to live together as brothers and sisters.
Now, as for the event itself, Mark and Olivia, Tim Vincent told me they're already at capacity, with 500 people signed up to hear not just about how good trouble lives on, but how they hope it will live on forever. Live in studio, I'm Brett Rosen, NBC Palm Springs.
Brett, thank you. A local alert this evening. Representative Raul Ruiz is reintroducing the Mobile Cancer Screening Act, along with other U.S. representatives, to make health screenings more accessible for underserved rural communities. For those at high risk of lung cancer, federal guidelines require private insurance for screenings, but many eligible patients still struggle with its accessibility, especially transportation. The bill is supported by surgeons nationally, and Representative Ruiz says it follows the Braidwood Supreme Court decision upholding preventative care for private insurers, which includes screenings. Ruiz believes this bill will be a step forward for underrepresented areas in need.
The Coachella Valley Unified School District has been awarded a $70,000 grant from a local utility provider. Imperial Irrigation District making that announcement yesterday, saying the funds will support energy efficiency efforts in education. The grant is part of IID's new Grants for Energy Modernization in Schools program, which is designed to help schools upgrade and reduce energy use. So far, the district is among several recipients with more than $1 million in total funding already awarded through the program. Road improvements coming along the 10 in Indio. Yesterday, the city giving some updates on two projects, the widening of the Monroe Street and Jackson Street interchanges. City staff says that this is going to ease traffic congestion, enhance safety, and improve mobility for everyone traveling in and around the city. The project includes widening and reconstruction of on and off ramps at Monroe and Jackson interchanges, replacement of the 10 overcrossings at the CV Stormwater Channel, additional through lanes and turn lanes, and integration with CV Link. The Monroe Street project is estimated to end in 2028. Then city staff will move to the Jackson Street project. That one currently has no slotted end time. New at 6 o'clock tonight, sometimes when one person no longer needs something, it becomes a hidden treasure for someone else. And in Desert Hot Springs, a local secondhand store is giving new life to old items and second chances to the people who walk through its doors. Antonio Marquez takes us inside Desert Rose, a store where community, creativity, and purpose all come together.
That's right. One man's trash is another man's treasure. And at Desert Rose thrift store, that saying couldn't be more true. Today was the ribbon cutting for the reopening of the Desert Rose thrift store. And although it's not a complete remodel, now the community will be able to enjoy more space and way more discounts.
This program started a while back when the Mizell Senior Center was in coordination with the City of Desert Hot Springs for the Senior Center. And once the city took the program back over, we transitioned it back to city-run programming. So this is just us relaunching this and giving the community awareness that this thrift store is here and that the proceeds go to good causes.
And one key element for the success of the store is help of the volunteers who come every day to set up, sell, and do everything possible to provide the community with the best service and, of course, a unique style, which is what Emma Guerrero provides. And after 2 years of volunteering, she now helps in the store, put in her own touch of style. And, of course, she tells us what motivates her when she's decorating the store and rearranging everything for sale.
Myself, because I like to put colors on each place. I take care of myself a lot, and I mash my clothes and I put it in the store.
All the money raised helps the center and the programs that are offered, such as free food and resources of all kinds, including housing.
There's programming on all the time happening here at our senior center based on the needs of our seniors in our community.
And now the store offers more things for the whole family, including toys and student discounts. The Desert Rose Thrift Store is open Monday through Friday, starting at 8:30 in the morning. Antonio Marquez, NBC Palm Springs.
Coming up next tonight, not feeling quite as hungry on these hot summer days. We have the latest studies about heat and how it can affect your appetite.
Also, it's Tuesday. That means Crypto Fitz will fill us in on why a number of crypto regulation bills hit a standstill.
And then later on in the Rogan Report, our Fred Rogan speaks with local entrepreneur Skip Page about the future of the tap house in Indio. That's still ahead at 6:30, so stay with us for that. And we have a quick look at your gold and silver prices on this Tuesday evening. We'll be right back.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Committed to covering our community. You're watching NBC Palm Springs at 6.
Welcome back. Tonight, some solar advocates and real estate agents say they're feeling relieved after a proposed solar bill was amended by the state assembly. Our Caitlin Kelly joining us live in studio tonight. She has the latest details for us. Caitlin?
That's right, Olivia. It's been known as Assembly Bill 942, and what was initially proposed in the bill would have drastically altered the solar landscape as we know it today. But now that's not going to happen. When a homeowner chooses to install solar panels on their home, they enter into an agreement with the utility. In Southern California Edison, that agreement term is set for 20 years. But Assembly Bill 942 sought to retroactively change those agreements by slashing the grandfathering from 20 to 10 years and eliminating said contract altogether should the homeowner sell their home.
So the utilities proposed this year to change the contracts for existing solar customers who had been guaranteed by the state of California that they would get their existing terms of the solar relationship with the utility for 20 years.
The bill, which was drafted by Assembly member Lisa Calderon in February, was met with strong opposition. And earlier today, she agreed to strike those items.
First of all, I'd like to start off by saying I am accepting the committee's amendments.
For solar advocates, they see this as a win in what they describe as a war on rooftop solar.
Thank God this didn't get pushed through. The grandfathering stays intact for 20 years. That would ruin their savings, and they'd be paying more than they would if they just stuck with the utility.
But solar advocates aren't the only ones breathing a sigh of relief.
So it would have had a direct impact. I mean, there's no getting around it. Anytime you create a bill like that where people, they go to purchase and then they have to take on a new contract or a new payment system where they're not getting the credits, they're not getting the the incentives typically that they would see for solar being, like it's got a lot of benefits to it, they're not going to purchase those homes.
Lisa Calderon says she proposed the bill due to a cost shift where non-solar homes are subsidizing solar homes. But Brad Hevner from the California Solar and Storage Alliance says,
well, this is bad math straight from the utilities. And, I have a hard time blaming individual legislators, but, some of them are able to study it, see through, understand that this is not true. This is not a subsidy to solar customers from non-solar customers. It's actually saving money for everybody when people go solar.
Now, full disclosure, I've worked in the solar industry for over a decade and have been following this story very closely. Today's vote clearly represents a compromise between honoring a signed contract and attempting to lower energy costs. With NBC Palm Springs, I'm Caitlin Kelly.
All right, Caitlin, thank you. And speaking of solar and the heat outside, if the weather is impacting your appetite, well, you're not alone.
Mandy Gaither tonight has more from experts and what you should eat during a heat wave.
As temperatures keep going higher, your appetite may be getting smaller. And researchers say there's a reason for this. Science.
It actually has to do with the thermic effect of food. So we're not as hungry in the heat because our bodies don't want to get overheated.
Registered dietitian Julia Zumpano with Cleveland Clinic says digesting food and stockpiling its nutrients uses energy, which generates heat. If your body is already hot, it may not want any more heat.
Generally and naturally, our appetites just drop in the summer and in the hotter months.
Even if you're not as hungry, Zumpano says it's still important to have a balanced diet. She says to choose the most nutrient-dense foods possible, like fresh fruits and veggies, and make sure you're getting enough protein. You might opt for ones that aren't as heavy.
Proteins can come from meats or fish, but it can also come from things like eggs and beans and dairy sources like cottage cheese and Greek yogurt.
And finally, Zumpano says digestion can slow down when you're dehydrated, so make sure to drink plenty of water.
Even focusing on hydrating foods can be very helpful, like watermelon and lettuce and celery and cucumbers, cherries and citrus fruits and strawberries. So all of those foods can be very hydrating, in addition to, of course, increasing your fluid intake.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A big week for the crypto industry on Capitol Hill. Regulation bills are being voted on by the House, and today a handful failed to clear a procedural vote. Now the bills cannot proceed until the House approves rules of debate for the legislation. The measures had widely been expected to pass, and they'll now face a second vote most likely on Wednesday. Republican leaders have not yet clarified whether a second vote would be for the same bills or whether members would make changes to the package. We spoke to Crypto Fitz about Crypto Week on Capitol Hill.
Yesterday started off Crypto Week on Capitol Hill, and basically they're Wednesday, tomorrow, and Thursday, they're going to really look at passing two bills. The Genius Act, which is, we've talked about stable coins, what that's going to do to open up a lot of big nation states, sovereign wealth funds around the world to be able to invest in our U.S. Treasury to keep our dollar level, right? Keep it strong, keep it as the #1 legal tender in the world. Bitcoin just became this week the 5th most valuable asset in the world. It's bigger than Amazon, it's bigger than Google, and it's right behind NVIDIA and gold. So it's finally at that tipping point where the legal clarity is going to happen this week.
Now we'll have a recap of Crypto Week in Washington, D.C. with Crypto Fitz next Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And for all of the latest cryptocurrency information, you can head to our website, NBCPalmSprings.com.
Giving you a live look on this Tuesday evening from our Indian Wells Golf Resort camera. Chloe Carlson's tracking the forecast for the middle part of the work week. Those details when we come right back.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
And happy Tuesday. Welcome back. Right now we're taking a live look at the Walter Clark Highway 11 cam in Rancho Mirage. Yeah, mostly clear skies out there today. Maybe a little bit of haze there in the background. Some steady traffic there on the 111. Go to the river this evening. As we look at it, you can get some Rocky Mountain chocolate there. It's delicious. Some cheesecake. Very much a sweet tooth. 108 for the high today. So right around seasonal for this time of year. 10 degrees below that record-breaking number from 2006. It was 118. Thank goodness we were nowhere near that. Today, 106 still in Palm Springs. On the other side of the 10, 95 degrees for Desert Hot Springs, 90 up in Yucca Valley at this hour. Overnight tonight we'll be in the 70s here for the low desert. As far as dew points, relative humidity, that surface moisture, yeah, a little bit more than we are used to. 5% is what we are normally tracking for relative humidity. Very dry here on the desert floor. Yeah, those numbers fluctuating a little bit this week as we're talking about that system off the coast drawing up some moisture, some monsoonal flow. So we will see that a little bit some muggy conditions as we get into later this week. As far as future wind potential, some gusty winds this evening. It'll remain gusty for Desert Hot Springs there on the other side of the 10. More breezy for us here on the desert floor. As far as tomorrow, yeah, similar to what we saw today. So hot, humid conditions might feel a little bit sticky out there. Right around seasonal for this time of year. A great time to go check out the pool. My daughters went to the Grand Hyatt pool today, so check it out. 9 a.m. it'll be 87 degrees, 92 for Indian Wells at 11 o'clock. So below triple digits at 1 p.m. And you also get a discount if you check it out during the weeknight. So definitely do that. Your kids will nap very well after that. Thursday and Friday, we are seeing that monsoon moisture flow through Southern California, so chance of rain for our mountain communities. Here's a look at your Comfort Air 7-day forecast. So we'll say below average for the rest of the work week, back to 108 by Saturday.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but Even your dogs know who leads the pack in news. The NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk with Tim O'Brien. Brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
Welcome back. A solid corn foundation had been the backbone for the Coachella Valley Firebirds over the first 3 seasons. And we'll add to that again. Defenseman Gustav Olofsson will be back for his 4th season in the Valley. The 6'3" Swede signed a 2-year AHL deal to help anchor what is expected to be a fairly young roster. So now you have Olofsson and Cale Fleury along with Ville Otavainen. Certainly a good start on the blue line. The Firebirds open the season Friday, October 10th at Acrisure Arena. And don't forget, again, for a 2nd consecutive season, all home games to be broadcast on My Firebirds TV on KPSC. Now, last night we highlighted the Palm Springs Power alumni that were drafted. So we have to show the college kids their flowers, give them their flowers as well. 20 College of the Desert players from the roster moving on to Division II and III schools. Pretty remarkable when you think about the pool that the JUCO has here in the Valley. It now marks 70 transfers over the last 5 seasons. The Roadrunners had a former player as well this year. Kenny Schechter signed a professional contract in the Frontier League. First Roadrunner to sign a pro deal. The team finished 23-18 on the season with a 16-8 conference record. And baseball's brightest stars on the biggest stage tonight in Atlanta for the Midsummer Classic. Pretty well represented in SoCal as well. Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Clayton Kershaw, Yoshinobu Yamamoto all representing the reigning world champ Dodgers. Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, Jason Adam, Robert Suarez, and Adrian Mahone all representing San Diego, and Yusei Kikuchi representing the Angels. Right now it's the top of the 4th. It is 2-0 National League off the bat of Arizona's second baseman Ketel Marte, who hit a 2-run double. We'll have more tonight on that, of course, coming up tonight at 11. That'll do it in sports. I'm Tim O'Brien.
And now the Agua Caliente Entertainment Report, brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
The medals for next year's Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games in Milano Cortina were revealed in Venice. According to the Olympic organization, the medals feature a unique design that combines 2 halves. It symbolizes the culmination of the athlete's journey and all those who have walked beside them. The Olympics start February 6th, feature the most medal events in Winter Games history. You can catch all of it right here on NBC Palm Springs. We'll be right back.
Brighter Side of the News is brought to you by Fiesta Kia. Discover the all-new Fiesta Kia located in the I-10 Auto Mall.
And the Ladies Surf Club, or the Palm Springs Surf Club, kicked off today. That is the very one and only Massey there, setting up on that wave. It is going to be every single Tuesday. This is the first week that we kicked it off. It was a great time. We had people from actually all over Southern California, traveling from LA, Riverside. The 12-year-old there, that is Lola. She's going to be a professional surfer, so remember her. But this was a really fun event. You get some great lunch out there. So check it out. I think Olivia is going to be going next week, right?
Yeah, I'd love to. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, and a men's surf club coming soon.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
It's a great showing.
I know. It was
How
awesome.
fun.
It was so much fun. So
Were you shredding out there?
we were shredded, yes. And you can still...
Is that what they say?
Yeah, you got it. Not getting barreled, but we'll be shredding. And it's every Tuesday, so you can book next week.
Fun.
Join us, please. Love it.
Sounds good. All right, we'll be back here tonight for the news at 11, so please join us for that. Meantime, we're going to send things over to Fred Rogan tonight. He's got the latest with the Rogan Report. Hey, Fred.
Hey, Mark. The Rogan Report is presented by The Living Desert.
In a short period of time, the Tap House in Indio has become a go-to spot and a key part of the revitalization of the area. After a year and a half, it's for sale. Skip Page, the owner of the Tap House, will join us tonight. All right, here we go on Tuesday. Last night we told you the story of the best bookstore in Palm Springs. Air conditioning unit has been out since the 4th of July, and the landlord refused to fix it. They said it was the responsibility of the tenant. Paul Carr, the owner of the bookstore, saw it differently. He said the lease indicated he was responsible for the inside. The air conditioning was on the roof. As things heated up, the heat went up. It was 95 degrees inside the store.
It is hot book summer at the best bookstore in Palm Springs. Unfortunately, unintentionally, we don't know how or who, but somebody went on our roof of our bookstore and damaged our air conditioning unit. That was bad enough. But now our landlord has unfortunately said that they will not replace it, at their cost. They've said that if we want it replaced, we're going to have to write a check for that, and we can't. We're an independent bookstore, and the lease is very clear that they're the ones supposed to be doing this. There's this clause that says, we're responsible for the interior of the building, but the air conditioning unit is on the roof, and is not. And they sent that, and I said, no, that doesn't say anything about the roof. It doesn't say anything about. And they said, and there's a thing that says, we have to get somebody to come out every 6 months and check that the air conditioning is working, which we have done every 6 months as required. I said, there's nothing in the lease about replacing this. Show me where it is. Show me by end of day where it is. They ghosted us. Not a word. We haven't heard a word since.
All right, that was last night. Now we have an update. Lyle Commercial Property Management handles the building. They have been trying to work with the landlords who live out of state to get this resolved. And we received word late this afternoon. They've done it. The landlords have agreed to replace the air conditioning unit as soon as possible. So Paul and the people in the bookstore won't melt. Shout out to those folks at Lyle Commercial Property. It wasn't easy, but they got it done. Palm Springs Post reported this morning there will be speed limit changes in Cathedral City starting July 25th. Many streets are getting a 5-mile-an-hour reduction, including busy roads like Vistachino and Ramon Road that a lot of folks use daily. All part of the city's effort to adapt to changing road conditions and improve safety. Compared to big cities, there's not a lot of traffic here, but it's something people talk about all the time. Contributors tonight, Chauncey Thompson and Tammy Bleck. Chauncey, you're up first. What do you think about the changes?
I think the city of Cathedral City is going to be in for an influx of cash. I put your motorcycle officers out there because, trust me, 5 miles down just means 10 miles over. I mean, I've driven Ramon, Date Palm, Vistachino. People fly down those roads. So you can put the sign up. It's not going to change anything.
Tammy?
Totally income producing because it's not going to make any difference. We all know that. I mean, people that want to drive 55, drive 55. And people that want to drive 70, drive 70. And there's no stopping it. No stopping it.
All right, if that's the case, if you had to give drivers in the valley a grade, overall grade, Tammy, what would it be?
I'm a very harsh grader, so I'm going to say, and I'm not sure that's fair because I think drivers everywhere are impaired in one way or another, and I know we have a lot more elderly here, but I'm going to say that we get maybe a C+. Is that fair? Chauncey, what's your grade?
I said a C-, and I was thinking maybe depending on the time of the year, right now I would give our drivers a B in the Valley. As we head to December, January, March, February, March timeframe, I give us a C- then.
Okay, so here's the problem I have. And when I was growing up in Detroit and Phoenix, if there was a red light 2 miles in front of me, my parents would stop 2 miles here. They would stop like 2 miles from the red light. And I go, why are you stopping? And they go, well, the light is red. And when I drive around here at times, I see the same thing. The light's way up there, and someone is slowing down, I don't know, 3 blocks from the light. Do you think that's a good way to drive?
I don't know where you're driving, Fred, but yellow here means go, 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 gas it. So especially down 111, you do not stop 200 feet before that red light. You go.
All right, we talked about this over a year ago. Now it may become reality. AT&T may be allowed to phase out landlines. There's a new state bill on the table that could give them the green light. It's a big change, especially for those who still rely on traditional phone services. Could really shift how we communicate, especially for older folks who may not be as tech savvy. Interesting to think about how this will impact people's access to phone services. Tammy, how do you feel about the decline of landlines in favor of mobile phones?
You know, I think it's a natural progression, don't you? I mean, we have both. Landlines will always be there when the cell towers go down. Also, we still get fax messages. Yes, we really do. So we need a landline for that. But I think it's a progressive thing. I think that as we dinosaurs die out, they're going to be gone. But I think it's to a big disadvantage to a lot of the elderly who are hearing impaired. I see a problem there. Chauncey, what do you think about that?
No, I agree. And Tammy, I'll start off. Get an e-fax. That's the web fax that you can utilize. But yeah, this brings a little bit of concern. I think, for the most part, we live on a fault line here in California. When that earthquake hits, and it's going to hit eventually, we're going to want those landlines to make those calls out. We've experienced 911 systems here in the last couple of months go down, and we're unable to use our cell phones. You're going to want that landline. So, I think of the life alert. I also think of those seniors that have on their TV when someone's calling and it alerts them on their phone. That's all going to go away for them. So I'm going to miss the landline personally.
You know what's confusing to me, and I know AT&T is seriously considering this, but if you were to initiate Spectrum, cable, Wi-Fi, do you know they offer you a landline? Spectrum offers you a landline. So Spectrum is offering landlines, yet AT&T is trying to get rid of landlines. And I find that really odd. In Los Angeles, when we activated our cable, we had to get a landline. I didn't want it. I don't even know the number. All I know, sometimes I hear this thing ring on my TV. It's a landline, but we never use it. So I feel it's odd. One gets rid of it, and the other keeps going. And now this has finally happened. Broadcast TV viewing has dropped 20%, below 20%. A recent report shows that fewer people are tuning into traditional television, which is a huge shift in how many of you consume media. The decline is likely due to the rise of streaming services and on-demand content, making it easier for viewers to watch what they want, when they want. Interesting to see how this trend could reshape the entire entertainment industry. And of course, RIP broadcast news. Good Lord, Kevin. What does it mean for the future of broadcast networks? Kevin puts RIP broadcast news. Kevin, we're doing broadcast news. Chauncey, how do you feel about the decline of traditional TV in favor of streaming services?
I see it happening. I think we all do. I got to tell you, I'm tired of looking at a bank statement and seeing all these different outlets on one statement. I wish we could go back to the 90s when the cable companies would allow us to opt in or opt out, for HBO or Cinemax or Showtime or whatever it is. But, I guess I have to get with the times. And but I prefer my basic cable television networks. I like watching my shows weekly.
What do you think, Tammy?
What about you, Tammy?
I think I was going to say it's bound to happen, but I think as the statistics show us, it has already happened, and it's going to be progressively so. And the truth of the matter is, and I think you and I talked about this once, Fred. You know, by the time we sit down and watch our news in the evening, we've heard it 16 times from our phone and from our computer. So it's really not worth it. I think that TV used to be a thing because it was free. It was free because they had advertisers, but now we DVR everything and fast forward the commercials. So where's the profit?
All right, listen, you may DVR and you may fast forward the commercials, but I know when you DVR this show, you watch every commercial from every one of our sponsors and every one of our partners. It's probably
I am
the only
obligated, yes.
It's probably the only show on TV where you'll watch the commercials. So we want our partners to stick with us. Streaming.
One show.
That's right, this one. All right, streaming is great, but if you keep watching us, you're just being a good neighbor. Is Andrea asking too much in La Quinta? Juicy, sweet peaches and red plums. That's all she wants. Celeste in Indio needs some car windows tinted, looking for recommendations for places in and around Indio. Doc in Palm Desert, now look at this, he's got a problem. A dirty barbecue grill, needs a good cleaning. Who should he see? And Nancy in Rancho Mirage needs some furniture repaired. She's got some squeaky chairs, and WD-40 just not doing the trick.
We're in the desert. Give us your hot take. Find Fred on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fred Rogan.
You can also email thedesertdean@gmail.com. Don't desert us in the desert.
You know, they may be harsh, and that could be good. Or maybe you find this interesting. A new study shows that many people actually prefer harsh bosses over those who are too soft. Turns out that employees often feel more motivated and clear about expectations when they've got a tougher manager. While soft bosses might seem nice, they can sometimes lead to confusion and a lack of direction. This really makes you think about the balance between being supportive and holding people accountable. Who knew being tough could have its perks in the workplace? By the way, that is exactly why every day for 5 minutes I yell at producer Kevin. Because what I'm trying to do is put him in the right frame of mind. I didn't know it was working. Chauncey, do you think a tough boss can really motivate employees more effectively?
I think it's depending on where you're at in your life and your career. I think back when I was 18, 19, I had a harsh boss that no one else wanted to work for. and we had a great relationship, and she launched my career. But, you know, thinking on it now, if I'm almost 40 and I had her same mentality, I'm not sure if I would appreciate that as much. I've had a little bit more life. So I think it's just dependent on where you're at and who you are, your personality. But I do agree that just having straight talk with your employees is probably best. But Tammy, what do you think?
I think you kind of nailed it as far as the age and where you are. Having only been employed by a boss for 5 years of my career, I'm self-employed for the rest. I can tell you that I don't think that the workplace should be a battlefield. I don't think it should be hostile. I don't think it should be aggressive. We spend so much time there, and you know, I don't think. Look at your workplace, Fred. I mean, you're surrounded by people that you enjoy working with, and you can be firm without being an asshat about it. Am I right?
Well, I'm glad you shared that with me. I'm going to have to avoid being an asshat in the future. See, I learned something here tonight, Tammy, so thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you very, very much. You guys have a nice night.
Thank you.
All right, there may not be much to report when it comes to the weather, other than you know it's hot. But see, Chloe always finds a silver lining.
Hot and humid? How lucky are we?
Sci-fi fans rejoice.
Riddle me this. What is always hungry and must be fed?
One night of the week where if you feel so inclined, you can go somewhere and get your sci-fi fix here in the Valley. NBC Palm Springs' Steve Summerall has all that information in this edition of Desert in a Minute.
Looking to visit some strange and interesting locations during these hot summer months? Not to worry. For the price of admission, the Camelot Theater will take you on a trip out of this world.
I think sci-fi is all about giving yourself unconstrained imagination. You can go anywhere, you can do anything.
When it comes to movies, we're all familiar with the sci-fi genre. It's where we get all of our catchphrases.
Get away from her, you...
Take
your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Now, every Saturday through September 13th, the Palm Springs Cultural Center, located at the historic Camelot Theater, is presenting these sci-fi classics, as well as some cult films for which you may not be as familiar.
Let's be bad guys.
So, I visited the Camelot Theater with a list of upcoming movies and spoke with some true science fiction fans about what makes these films so special.
I had been interested in Star Trek from the original series in the 70s, and to be able to see it brought to the big screen in a very true-to-life form. The storytelling really spoke to me.
The Matrix.
A mind bender. A mind bender. It was, I was tripped out.
Planet of the Apes.
I haven't seen it.
Seriously?
I seriously have not seen it.
I wish I were you. I'm jealous of you having not seen that and being able to see it for the first time.
That was a hell of a thing.
Galaxy Quest was a fun new way to bring Star Trek to the screen without actually saying Star Trek.
Funny. Oh my God, that man makes me laugh. Yes.
Repo Man.
Ooh, that was good. Yeah. Kind of dark, but liberating in its own way.
That's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Shall I tell you what I would like?
I think I know.
Barbarella.
What was it? It was the spaceship with the shag carpet.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Jane Fonda, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Off the rails.
Forbidden Planet.
Good, like, cheesy sci-fi. Like, the beginning that made it what we have today. So thank you.
Where have you been? I've beamed and beamed.
Sorry, miss. I was giving myself an oil job.
For Desert in a Minute, this is Steve Sumrall for The Rogan Report.
So last night we told you the Tap House in Indio was up for sale. The Tap House, the latest project from Skip Page. We were puzzled when we heard the news, so we invited Skip on the show tonight. Skip, welcome to the program.
Hi, Fred.
Hey, so I was shocked. I know you put a lot of time, a lot of effort into the Tap House, and it meant an awful lot to
Right.
me. I know, and I've been there. And then I saw it was for sale. Is everything all right?
Yeah. Everything's good there. You know, I believe that my specialty is really in developing these projects. The city came to me. They wanted to revitalize that area, and the deal was so good. It really wasn't anything that I could pass up. So we built something great there. You know, there's a lot of land around there, and there's the ability to build condos, and there's the ability to actually even build a third restaurant. So I figured, you know, I've gotten it to the spot that I want it. Now let me see if there's somebody else that could come in and take it to the next level, because in my opinion, it's really great down there.
But, you know, you talk about there's land for condos and stuff. What about overall in the Coachella Valley? You've been here, you were Golden Voice, you ran Coachella, you know almost everybody. What's the business climate like here in the Coachella Valley?
Well, I think, you know, in my opinion, and I do know a lot of people in town, I think that the restaurant business is going to suffer going into next year just because the pricing and the costs are so high and the labor is so high. And I really do feel like this in certain cities, maybe Palm Desert, Indian Wells, Rancho Mirage, there's going to be this, the snowbirds that normally come that maybe rent and don't own, they might not be coming this year.
Why does it take so damn long for everything to happen here? It is mind-boggling to me, Skip.
Yeah, it's not at the fast pace that LA would be in a lot of ways. But I think that if you have good projects and good business, and it is a lot easier than you think. Indio in particular has been very generous and very easy to work with. Even during Coachella, when we had a lot of the issues when we went to the 2 weekends and 3 weekends, they always worked with us. And I think a lot of the other cities are like that. You know, I don't do a lot of business in Palm Springs, so I don't know what that's about. But, you know, years ago, you know, the mob was the first inhabitants of this area. So a lot of that mob culture still permeates the area.
So what are you talking about? You got to navigate the mob?
Well, I think it's like it takes a long time to, you know, get out of that mode. And we're generally a seasonal resort area. So right now in the dead of summer, it's 110. It's not very fun here. And but in the wintertime, people want to come here, and it's a vacation. Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and all these rich guys, they live all over here and they vacation here and they spend a lot of their time here. So actually, that helps the area quite a bit and the prestige. So I do like that those types of people spend time here.
You know what? I think the most fascinating stories would be about the mob, but we'll save those for another time, okay?
Right. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Fred.
Hey, Skip, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Hope I can do it again soon. Let me know.
Guess he's got some stories to tell. Your daily dose of cuteness when we return.
Report was presented by the Living Desert Zoo and Gardens.
We never hear from anyone in Coachella or Desert Hot Springs.
Once in a while, say hi.
As a matter of fact, everybody tell us what you think.
Find Fred on Facebook and Instagram at Fred Rogan or email thedesertdean@gmail.com.
What is always hungry and must be fed? A fire.
Fair. All right, you know, I checked comments during the show on the topic of Spectrum landline compared to AT&T. Mark has said AT&T and others are decommissioning copper landlines. Spectrum offers landlines over their hybrid coaxial cable network, which does not run over copper. All right, Wheel of Fortune is next.